House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Darian Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to take a call on the third reading of the Land Transport Management Bill and to reiterate that Labor continues to oppose this bill. Despite putting out some excellent supplementary order papers during the committee stages that would have improved this bill, the government kept its head down. They remain stuck in the tarmac, dedicated to building roads and more roads to the detriment of everything else. The truth is that this government wants this bill to pass so they can borrow more and charge more on toll roads. And it clearly shows their direction in land transport is to build more and more unsustainable roads and spend more on motorways to nowhere. It seems that the government woke up one day and realised that the roads of national significance projects are too expensive and they're going to have to borrow to fund them or make them all toll roads. And that's the truth of why they need this bill. That is what is at the heart of this bill. Without increasing petrol tax beyond CPI adjustments, NZTA would need to borrow $930 million over the next 5 years to keep the roads of national significance on track. That is, Mr Speaker, $930 million over the next 5 years that would need to be borrowed. Meanwhile, this government continues to underfund local roading, and I'm sure we'll hear about more local roads in this debate. We will hear more about local roads in this debate, and I know my colleagues have many a story to tell on that. And the current level of subsidy sees state highways receive $142,509 per kilometre compared to just $7,573 per kilometre for local roads. Now, how unbalanced is that? That just shows you that what this government is up to is more and more highways addicted to tarmac, don't care about the local people. And when you look at the purpose of this bill, Mr Speaker, it says it all. They've removed references to words like affordable, integrated, safe, sustainable and accessible, and one that promotes public health, environment and social responsibility. Now, during the committee stages, Mr Speaker, we sought to understand why the government thought it could remove those criteria and reduce it down to 3, which is what they describe as a streamlined project-level decision-making criteria, 3 criteria to give effect to the GPS, the government policy statement, and to be effective and efficient. Now, what's being cut out? Let's remember what's being cut out. Affordable. Now, what's wrong with affordable? I thought this was a government that prided itself on being fiscally responsible, but it doesn't want to have that as a criteria in this bill. It doesn't want to have the word integrated. What it's done is remove integrated, which is about incorporating not only roads but also rail and also coastal shipping. Coastal shipping has died a death under this government. We're making progress under the last government, and it has died a death under this government. They are so committed to roads, they're not committed to rail in real terms. They just want to make sure that we have no other way of getting around except by roads. They want to remove the word safe. Now, Mr Speaker, surely we want a land transport management system that's safe. What's wrong with safe? Roads are not... Is David Bennett? No, he doesn't. Maybe that member is saying that the roads of national significance shouldn't be safe. Is that what the member's saying? Is that what he's saying? Because we know, look, we just had a fantastic weekend where nobody was killed on the road. Nobody was killed on the road. And that's down to the hard work of many, many people over many years. And certainly, I'm sure the people that were responsible for the wonderful road safety we had over the weekend will be very concerned to hear that this government doesn't think a decision criteria is safe. They've also removed the word responsive And sustainable. Now, sustainable is a dirty word for this government. This is a word that this government does not like to use, doesn't understand it, but I thought they might understand this one, Mr Speaker, which is to assist economic development. When you think that a national government, again, that prides itself on being fiscally responsible, that boasts all the time about its wonderful economic management, will want to have a criteria that require roads, land transport management systems to assist economic development. And improving access and mobility has gone. Now, I think we saw during urgency the disgraceful performance of this government and the lack of regard they have for people with disabilities. And that's what this means. That's what this means, Mr Speaker, removing accessibility and mobility, not having that as a criteria, is a slap in the face to the people throughout New Zealand who have disabilities, who rely on a government to actually recognise for them to get around, we have to take special care and provide special access. And then there's other things like social responsibility. Now, of course, that's a dirty word for this government. I don't think they'd understand what social responsibility means. And here's another one, environmental responsibility. There you go. Well, we had the Honourable Marion Street speaking this afternoon about the budget and about how there was nothing mentioned in the budget speeches about the environment, no new initiatives, no new money. So I guess those are our concerns about the bill. And this is why we are very concerned about it, why we continue to be opposed to it. There's other things about the bill, Mr Speaker. It abolishes the ability to have a regional fuel tax. Now, that's just another cynical attempt by the National Party to prevent the Auckland Council's plans for its transport system. And the Minister already has complete control of whether a regional fuel tax is created. Now, we know that that Stephen Joyce and Jerry Brownlee don't get along with Auckland, but some of us live there. Some of us are just very, very keen to see the plans that have been laid out by our properly elected Mayor and Council to ensure that we have a future transport system throughout Auckland that is fit for purpose, that will cope with growing populations, that doesn't rely on building more roads when we don't have any more room, that actually extends public transport, but that abolishing the ability to have regional fuel tax takes that opportunity away. And of course, local communities under this bill have fewer says. They have fewer says to support transport projects that benefit them, and the bill reduces opportunities for community input into the transport systems. Now, we in Labor strongly believe that every community should have the ability to have their say about their transport systems, but this government is taking it away, just like they are taking away other things that underpin our land transport system. They are taking away the right of communities to have a say on their local transport systems. So, Mr Speaker, this bill will do nothing to fix the shambles the transport portfolio has been in since this government took in, with years of wasteful mismanagement. The sad thing about it, Mr Speaker, is future generations will pay the price for this very, very stunted and short-term thinking that this bill demonstrates. It is a missed opportunity. It undoes much of the good work that the Labor government did when it was in government around progressing and upgrading the land transport management system. It is a real shame, and that's why Labor is opposed to this bill.
Call David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I just want to thank members of the Select Committee and the